Hey ratbags, another preview today of the Valheim update Ashlands and on its PTB branch. We're going to take a look on how you're going to be crafting all the brand new elemental weapons in the game. It's not how I imagined. I figured we'd be able to slot the gems in directly ourselves, but instead you'll be just basically adding on more materials to the basic weapons that you can craft, and these basic weapons are all new. There are 3 brand new elemental stones, and these stones can be acquired, and then you basically add these on to the weapons you've already crafted. So I know that sounds like slotting, but you won't be able to remove them once you've crafted these weapons or adjust or change them. As you might expect, a lot of this stuff has to be crafted at a black forge. So there's 2 new extensions that should bring up your forge to level 4 and 5. Now at the moment, when you're playing this, you might find that you are able to craft a lot of the new stuff at levels lower. But I've spoken to the Valheim devs and it was not intended. You're meant to obviously have these extensions placed down so that you can get access and upgrade and unlock the new stuff. So I'll explain that in a minute, but the metal cutter is probably the first one you're going to craft. 5 black marble, 5 flint metal, 5 ash wood, 5 charred bones, and obviously the black forge. Then you've got the gem cutter, and that's 5 flint metal, 8 ash wood, 2 Morgan sinew, 1 bloodstone, and I'm going to explain how to get some of these materials later. So basically, yeah, when I did this video, the levels were much lower. You could craft the normal tools at level 2 workbench, and it said that the elemental stuff would be crafted at level 3, and that didn't seem right. So I raised it with their devs and they said, yeah, it was a mistake. So they've upped it. You may not see this until the next patch if you're playing the PTB currently, but when you do, hopefully it will be a case of that the basic weapons will unlock now the new ones at level 3, and the elemental weapons will unlock once your forge is at level 4. So technically you'll only need 1 of these new benches to go ahead and craft all the weapons, but you can obviously go ahead and upgrade them. Although they may end up leaving that final upgrade, the 5th slot, to get it upgraded to level 5 for weapons until they've maybe set up what they're doing with the next biome. A bit like they did with Mistlands where they added it after. So you'll probably not see this till you get some flint metal. That's when a lot of the recipes are going to unlock. And you might not see the elemental ones until you get the right stones. So there are 3 stones. Jade, you've got Iolite, and then you've also got the Bloodstones. Jade basically gives a flat poison damage of 10, but it also immobilizes enemies, well, a 15% chance of immobilizing them. Bloodstone weapons are basically going to do more damage the more that you lose health, with a 0.2% increase, which doesn't sound a lot, but I think the idea is that if you get to the last stages, you've got a chance of defeating and killing an enemy with a Bloodstone weapon before it actually finishes you off. And the Iolites, the lightning ones, they're pretty much just flat 10 lightning damage with no extra effects just yet. All of these brand new stone attributed weapons are going to have the same flat damage values as normal. And there are a ton of these. There's brand new maces, there are brand new bows, arballistas, there's a ton of axes, there's just pretty much everything going, except maybe Atgars. There's new swords, there's just new maces, yeah, it's a lot of weapons. And they'll all have just the regular values, which are going to be stronger than anything you've got before, like black metal or any of the Mistlands gear. Unfortunately, you cannot maybe customize any of your old weapons. You're not going to be doing anything to the Mistwalker. And I can see some people being a bit sad they're not going to be able to add elemental damage to some of their other weapons. These are all brand new crafted weapons, but they will be stronger. Anywho, PTB, things will change. Like I said, if you don't see that immediately, I've been assured that's going to happen very soon. Check out my other guides for more details on some of the following, but let's go through the new materials you're going to need. So probably the most important, the basalt bombs are going to be needed to go ahead and get the flint metal. Maybe. You might find some flint metal spikes, not necessarily directly in lava. You'll be able to climb up on some ridges or rocks to get some, but they do sink eventually. If you haven't seen this, go and check out the video where I did showing you how to get it. But effectively the basalt bombs will give little platforms for a very limited time so that you could go ahead and mine the flint metal. As said, the spikes will drop into the lava, and so you'll have to be quick, get off them and get back onto your platforms, hopefully before you start to burn. The basalt bombs, you're going to need the hide from the brand new Askvrin, and I'm going to show you that in a second quickly, as well as a gallbladder. And you need some of the new basically dynamite explosive dust called prosthetic powder, which you can get from killing some of the brand new lava blobs or going ahead and blowing yourself up, dismantling some of these rocks. I'm sure there's better ways to do it, you can work that out. The lizard dog oath hide, then obviously you're going to be killing lots of these to get some. And the Morgans, well, they can be all around Ashlands, or you might find them inside some of these putrid hole caves, and they'll pop out unexpected times. Literally when I was about to leave, I got the fright of my life when this one jumped out at me. Obviously you can be killing them to get hold of some of the sinew. And you get plenty of the bones from taking on the Twitchers and more of the charred soldiers. And it should be pretty obvious that you get a lot of the charred wood from chopping down some of the very burnt trees you'll find in the Ashlands. But absolutely toughest thing to get is going to be the bloodstone that you're going to need for the gem cutter and more of the gems. This is how you get the jade stones and the iolite. You've got to break into the keeps and defeat the enemies inside before gaining access to the inner keep to get some, which is going to require the use of a battering ram to get through the door. So yeah, not something simple or easy to do. Certainly you won't be necessarily making the gem cutter for a while, but at least you won't actually need it to go ahead and make the elemental weapons. You should be able to craft them just by having the metal cutter as well as the previous 2 extensions from Mistlands. I'm sure there might be other ways to get some of these gemstones. I was thinking that maybe there'd be some in the Putrid Cave, but I don't remember coming across one in there. And maybe you got a chance of getting them as loot from certain enemies as well. But so far, at least in my early travels, that's how you go ahead and get them. The battering ram's relatively cheap to make, actually, considering it's obviously using new resources. And there's other ways to get inside some of these keeps you might want to see if you can catapult in. But I don't want to do this service. That's all going to come in a separate video with more details about how to actually take them on. There we go, a kind of whistle-stop tour of how to craft the brand new elemental types of weapons. Let me know what you think about the attributes and the damage types. I'm kind of missing out on a bit of cold and ice. I know we do have a lot of already frost weapons, so maybe that's why they've not really done it. I'm not going to lie, it seems pretty obvious that you should probably have an ice one added as well, just for the fun of it, since we've got the other elements. And if anything, the ice should probably do what the poison has a chance of doing. But that's just a hot take opinion from me. They look really cool, the effects in them are great, I love some of the names. The staves particularly I want to mess around with, and just a little FYI, in the PTB when I was testing it, they were slightly cheaper than the other melee weapons, but they're probably going to zero them out and make them equal so you can't craft them even earlier. Likewise, crossbows and bows, they may look like they're cheap enough at level 2 for you to craft right now, but again, that will probably change by the time the PTB gets an update. And yeah, the fact that crossbows also have this damage, so maybe depending, no matter what weapon you're using, they've got a chance of applying this elemental effect on top of the arrows. Although looking at the staves, they don't necessarily have the same elemental damage types, they look like they're just a bit different. Obviously you've got the one that summons a troll now, and I'm sure it'll be the same thing when you look at the Golda table to go ahead and craft these brand new staves. It might show that they're level 2, but I think they should be level 3. That might change, that might not change, but there is a brand new extension, the Feathery Reef, which you get from getting celestial feathers, which I do believe drop from the new Valkyries, as well as finding them in chests inside keeps. Obviously a trophy from the brand new Lizard Doggo, some Ether, and some more Ashwood. This should now be able to bring up the magic or Golda table up to level 4. And yeah, I do want to obviously showcase all the weapons, but as I said, I do want to make sure I'm doing it properly. I want to test it out thoroughly to give you a definitive what weapons are good, which ones to avoid with these new elemental types. And you get the idea. A lot of the weapons will use similar resources that you've already acquired in Valheim via previous biomes. I just focus on the new stuff. So have fun having a look through yourself, what kind of weapons you're going to craft, what ones you're going to go for, like blood axes. And yeah, I should be back with a showcase video on these very soon. Until next time, Ratbags, I will see you for more Valheim news and guides. Make sure you subscribe. Bye-bye.